What's going on, y'all? American Horror Story Season 6, Chapter 9, My Roanoke Nightmare. Next week will be the season finale, which is kind of odd because usually they have around like 12 episodes. Okay, so let me tell y'all something. So I did and took y'all suggestions when y'all said go back, Ashley, and watch season 1 and season 2. Because if you didn't know, I started in season 3 when Coven came on, okay? And that's how I really got hooked. I mean, I did watch the first episode of the first season and never finished the rest of the season for some reason. And I did like it though. But this past weekend, was it this weekend? Probably was. Either way, I went back and I watched season 1 and season 2, and I understand a whole lot more with the characters and all of that. It's a little bit clear. And then after seeing what's coming on the season finale next week, with Lee having an interview with Lena Winters, I know exactly where she comes from. It's like, girl, I see. I'm caught up. I'm caught up. Y'all was right. Y'all was right. Go back and check it out. I did. I did. I took y'all suggestions. I will say, I did like Madhouse. Asylum, it was okay. It was twisted as shit, but it was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but I did like Madhouse. So I will say, like, my two favorite seasons, Madhouse and Coven. Okay, I have to tell y'all that, and I had to go back and watch because season 7, from what I've heard, is gonna be a cross with Madhouse and Coven. So I want to see how that goes. But let's get into this episode. Um, Y'all, Monet and Audrey were a fucking key in this episode because they gave me all types of giggles. At one point, it was almost as if, oh, fuck this shit, bitch, okay? Give me a drink and let me smoke this weed right quick. That's what it was like. Well, bitch, if we gonna die, we gonna die, high as hell. That's how it seemed like because they was just kind of over it. And I understood that shit, bitch. I'm just tired, okay? I'm trying to get out of here. It's a full moon. I thought this shit was fake as fuck, and then all of a sudden, you got dead bitches coming out the woodwork. You got people coming out trying to chop me up and eat my ass. And I'm sitting here like, what in the goddamn fuck of all that is holy? This is wrong. So we start this episode off with, the girl who's just been in just about every season. Her name is Sophie. All right. And I don't care how old she is in real life. On all these seasons, it's like she's gonna forever play either a teenager or at least in her early 20s or whatever. She ain't gonna get no older than that. Um, so we see her and three friends, well, two friends. Her name is Sophie. We see another guy named Milo and another guy named Todd. They have this like fan page, website, or whatever that's dedicated to the Roanoke series. Okay, and she keep on saying Roanoke season 1 as if it was like season 2, 3, 4, 5. Like season 2 ain't even out yet. They still trying to film it, but it will never be released because everybody's dead. All right. So um they're going in the woods and they see this girl. They're filming everything. They got the helmet on with the lights, with the cameras, all this stuff. So all their actions is being filmed just like in the house. Okay, they're kind of mirroring each other. And all of this is so that they can get hits on their website, get more followers, more subscribers, and things of that such, and give their fans what they want. Okay. So they see somebody out there just walking like, oh my God, where am I? How did I get here? And she's badly bruised up. And instantly I was like, bitch, don't tell me that's old girl that's the assistant who got into the fucking car accident when the pig dude jumped into the car earlier. They said they couldn't find her body. So did she not die? After all that, she was just knocked the fuck out. Bitch, no. No, she was dead. And I said, you know what? I don't have time for this. They trying to see where she coming from and trying to help her out, and she leads them to the car. They look into the car, bitch. There go her dead body right there. So of course they go to the cops. They got all this on film. They can't believe what they're seeing, and they're telling the cop each one of them what's going on. And while they getting all this stuff out, at one point the cop was like, I'm tired of y'all bullshit because y'all little fanatics, ever since this show came on, y'all been out here, calling and saying that this is happening, and we got officers wasting time on y'all bullshit when they can be using it, going and doing actual police work, because of y'all pranks and shit. So they didn't believe. So they still got everything on film. They trying to get to the house, okay? And at a certain point, we go back to the actual house, and there's Dylan. Audrey knows Dylan. Lee, the real Lee, she don't know Dylan, okay? She's like, what were you doing? He said, I'm an actor, okay? I follow instruction, I follow rule, I follow call time, and I was supposed to be over in my hotel or over at this place or whatever, and at a certain time, Cindy was supposed to call me, I was supposed to show up in this pig costume and all this stuff, and, they said right around this time, this probably when the show probably would have been started lagging off and getting a little bit boring or whatever, so I was supposed to come and spice things up. And I never got a call from Sydney, so I just came on over here. Bitch, how the fuck you get over here? Do you got a car? Did you got a phone or nothing? No, I don't got a phone, and no, I don't have a car. I took an Uber. Bitch, he is sitting in the backseat of that Uber with the outfit on. I said, you know what? If I was the Uber driver, I would have been like, no, you're going to have to take that off, sir. You're going to have to take, no, I seen the show, bitch. I'm not playing. Take that shit off, or you're going to have to, I'll cancel this for you, and I'll give you the $5 my damn self, okay? Because this ain't going to fly. This is not going to fly. I don't know what's on your agenda, but it ain't on mine, okay? You want this ride? All right, take that shit off, okay? That would have been fucking me. And so they started telling him, we got to get the fuck up out of here. We need to go back to the Pope's house, and get the car, okay? They have cars, they have probably a phone or whatever. They got weapons and shit. We need to go over there, and we also need to go get Monet. They was like, bitch, I said y'all finna go back and get Monet. Audrey, you finna go back and get Monet because Monet left your ass. Monet was like, oops, I'm gonna try to get this knot. Monet tried that knot for half a second and said, bitch, I'm sorry, we gonna have to get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry, and left, okay? She was gone. She said, bon voyage, all right? But I was like, so y'all finna go back and get her? Dylan was like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna go back, okay? I was in Afghanistan. No, we don't leave no man behind. I fought this, I did this, and the people that came at me, they had AK-47s and all this stuff. I don't give a damn about no fucking spirits. They ain't had shit. I'm sitting here like, all right. You come up into the house and you see that real Shelby, and Dominic is dead, okay? And you want to go outside fucking around with this? All right, you want to do this? Lee and them said, bitch, y'all are not finna leave us in this house by ourselves. We will go with you. He said, no, you gonna slow me the fuck down. And then she said, they was like, no, but we know the way to the house and you need to know how to get there. Girl, they finally get to the house, okay? They do find Monet while Lee and Audrey in the house trying to find Monet and trying to get her to wake the fuck up and all this shit. Dylan is out there trying to fix the car, trying to hotwire the goddamn car, bitch. And he finally do it. But then all of a sudden we see this, because we seeing it from the camera, not his perspective, that's what I should say. And we see this blood splatter on his hand. I said, oh my God, did he just get shot? Oh my God, because two of the brothers, the Polk brothers, still alive. Two of them. The oldest one and probably the middle one, okay? He's still alive. And I said, oh my God, which one got him? Which one got him? And then, I was like, did he get shot or something? And next thing you know, we see the Pope brother on top of him, and it's like he's stabbing. I was like, oh my God, he's dead. He's dead for sure. Okay? But inside, they see, they finally see Monet, and they trying to wake her ass up, and she like in a shock or whatever. The brother comes in, the other brother, you killed Ma, you did this and you did that. And next thing you know, what's that girl name? Lee found the camera. She trying to find where the delete button on the other side. Shelby went and got Monet and basically killed the boy and said, fuck you, bitch, and got the fuck up out of there. Mind you, they back outside, okay? And the other Pope brother who supposedly attacked Dylan, he's like, oh my God, you done killed mama, you done did this, so we ain't got no protection. We ain't got no protection against none of the people because they see the Bush and her people coming. And it was like, and it's a full blue moon. Red moon. I said, yeah, you should have thought about that shit before y'all start fucking with people, right? Sacrifice my goddamn ass. Sacrifice these nuts, okay? And so I said, yeah, get the fuck up out of there. Now you scared because ain't nobody there to help them. Somehow, when the Butcher's people was coming, Lee, Audrey, and Monet got um, um, separated. So Lee's still out there in the forest. Monet and Audrey, they get back to the house and they looking like, where the fuck this bitch at? Oh my God. And Audrey was like, she left the camera. And they sitting there like, man, she wouldn't have left the camera if we knew that she was alive or whatever, or if she wasn't gonna make it and all this stuff. And I said, oh shit. Monet said, bitch, let me look at this goddamn camera. And this scene right here, y'all, tell me you did not crack up a little bit when y'all seen this. I said if Angela Bassett did not play this scene like we would have did that shit. She was sitting there looking at the thing and she was like, okay, we see one part of the camera was showing when they was cutting her up and doing all this stuff. And then and Audrey was smart. When they was back at the Pope house, when the Pope was like, you killed mama and I'm finna murder y'all. She said, repeat that shit. I'm finna murder y'all. And then she shot him. She got him on tape saying that I'm finna murder y'all. So if they try to come back and say, oh, you committed murder. Yeah, bitch, it was in self-defense because he threatened me. There you go. But they was sitting there and they got past that part and it was like, Flora, baby, I love you. And it's just been a whole bunch of stuff that's been going on about me this year in the media, okay? And I've been trying to protect myself and, proclaim my innocence. But I want to tell you, I killed Daddy. As soon as she said that, Monet was like, mm-hmm. Now, I knew this bitch. I said, bitch, I must have rewinded that shit 2 times to see her fucking reaction. Audrey was like, no. And I started to believe her. I was sitting here like, bitch, that was our reaction. I said, she straight did it like a homegirl, like, bitch, I told you I fucking... You should have listened to me, bitch. I told you I never trusted that bitch. That's exactly how she did it. So it was over and done with for her. Like, they didn't give a shit about her. If she was alive, if she was dead, they really didn't give a care. Mind you, Lee is out there in the forest, and we see the real head witch, that Gaga played in the show. We see her come out because Lee is just out there by herself. Then we see this wild boar walk past, and then we don't see it no more. It just disappears, and Lee's on the other side. And then we see the witch comes up, and she had took that boar. That's why it disappeared, because she took the boar and she took the heart out. Remember in the butcher story on the first season of the Roanoke thing, when they was reenacting it, that's how the butcher got, when they was telling the story with the witch and all that stuff, and how the butcher, the witch came to her and told her to eat. That's how she get them and possess them and all that stuff. And so Lee took that motherfucking heart and just drank the shit out of it. And I said, you nasty bitch. Okay. Get mad cow disease. All right. But Lee at that point was possessed in the motherfucker, because she seen them people out there. They seen her. They was trying to get to the house. Okay. And at one point they see Lee out there in the forest or whatever, and they was like, oh my God, it's Lee Harris, it's you, we want to just tell you this. And like, bitch, you see somebody looking zoned the fuck out, okay? She is staring at you like, and with blood all on her and all this stuff, and looking uncouth than a motherfucker, bitch. Look like she just got through going 10 rounds in a battle of hay, all right? And you literally finna come up to her and try to talk to her and all that shit. I'm not finna ask you how you doing, girl. I seen you on the show. I'm finna walk opposite direction, because I see you in a fucked up place. I'm gonna go find somebody who got a phone. I'm gonna call 911, but I ain't finna touch your ass, because some strange shit is happening, okay? It is a full red moon out here, and I ain't got time for it. But no, you go straight up to her, and then Ty get his ass sliced. Lee just said, I said, ain't this about a bitch? So now you want to run, and then not only do they run into fucking Dylan. So they trying to run away from him and all this stuff, because when they get through with all this and they try to run to safety or whatever, they look up and they see the Blair Witch sticks all around them. And I said, girl, y'all, that's death warning for y'all. Y'all got like 15, 20 minutes left in y'all life. I just want you to know that. Okay, that was just a warning. Okay, that was the timestamp. And they find the trailer. They see that everybody's dead. And outside the production office, everybody's dead. And then that's when I think Dylan showed up, and they were scared of him because they didn't know if he was real or not. I'm like, damn, Dylan's still alive? I thought they stabbed the fuck up out of him. But no, that was Dylan. They get up into the trailer, close the door, and they looking at the live footage, and they see that Shelby and Monet are, in the house, and they see Lee trying to come to the house. Okay, so they like, we have to go to the house and stop her and all this stuff and tell them what's going on. And Milo is like, bitch, please, because it stopped being about, for him, this getting gaining subscribers and stuff, because once they posted that video of that dead girl, they did get 20,000 plus subscribers within an hour. And I was like, girl, the shit, that's, this is the world we live in, where it's literally about how many likes and how many subscribers, how many views and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm so glad I don't give a fuck about that shit. Like, some people just, they show that some people, that's how their life is, and it's quite sad, actually. It really is. But like, they put their life at risk over some fucking scary shit just for nothing. Like, what is it gonna do to you? You gain subscriber, you gonna get some money from it, or you trying to get sponsorship? It's not gonna work when you're not gonna be here. But either way, Dylan was outside trying to knock on that door. They wouldn't let him in. After they came to the realization that, we gonna go back to the house, child, they go outside. Dylan nowhere to be found, and we got Audrey and Monet up in the house, and they talking and drinking and shit. They just talking shit about Lee and all that stuff. Next thing you know, they open up the door because they heard a clashing, right? They heard a clashing, and Lee is out there, and they was like, bitch, what the fuck you doing here, okay? It was like, I never trusted your ass in the first goddamn place. Lee talking about some, y'all presence is vile and disgusting on this sacred place. Bitch, all Monet heard was Val. Who the fuck you calling Val, bitch? And then she just going off on her like, bitch, I knew you was the one that did this. I never brought your shit in the first place. Fuck you, bitch. Lee all up in Audrey's camera. I would have been like, Monet, I'm gonna ask you to shut the fuck up because this bitch ain't right in the head. I can look at her eyes like that. Audrey said, fuck you, bitch. I'm gonna let you keep on talking because this payback for you leaving me up in the goddamn place, okay, in the Poke's house. Because next thing you know, Lee turned around and pushed motherfucking Monet over the goddamn banister and went straight through that spike of the chandelier and impaled her. I said, God damn, y'all done killed Angela Bassett's character. Fuck. So Audrey like, it's time to get the fuck up out of here, okay? Because I ain't trying to be next. She go running out the house, and while she running out the house, Milo and Sophie trying to get to the house. Milo was pissed at Sophie because, like, bitch, we lost. The only person that knew who it was, where it was Todd, and he dead. And then all of a sudden, Sophie was like, bitch, look, that go the house right there. There it goes right there. And they was almost to the house, but then they saw Lee ass. Lee had Audrey went outside. She trying to go to that bunker, bitch. She went and was trying almost down the ladder. Lee had her foot right there, and she looked up. I said, bitch, what the fuck did you stop and look up for? Okay? Slide your ass on down that motherfucking ladder. Ain't no stopping. You literally stopped and looked up at her and said, come on, cut my shoulder. Because that's exactly what Lee did. And Lee pushed your ass down there, and you just clanked on that shit. I said, did she just break her neck or some shit? I had to rewind. Is she dead? Is she dead? Bitch, she down there moaning and groaning. I said, oh, it's just a flesh wound. Get your ass up, okay? Walk it off. Walk it off, girl. Just shake it out, okay? That's how I'm sitting here like. But bitch, if that would have been me, I would have been down there. I would just play dead for real, okay? I wouldn't have said a goddamn thing, okay? I would have been crying my ass off, but you wouldn't have heard shit. I don't play with shit like this, okay? And so, while all this happening, Lee closes the thing on it, closes the hatch. And so they see Milo and Sophie is out there, and they see Lee. And not only do they see that, but they see the butcher's people. And then they see Dylan. Dylan was out there, and they grabbed Dylan, and we see from his camera that they, not only was he already stabbed the fuck up, they stabbed him in the stomach, cut his stomach, and pulled out his intestines and stuff. They, devoured him. Okay, that's exactly what the fuck they did. I just said, I don't have time for all this disgusting shit, right? And then They didn't notice that Lee was there behind them until they turned around and she screamed. I'm like, you had now from two different people and you fuck around and start screaming, and then that's how they came and got their asses. And not only did they get their asses, oh my god, y'all. When I talk about being impaled and put up on the spoke, bitch, they stabbed them with a stick, like literally through their skin, and rose that bitch up, both of them. And then, you got Lee talking about something, y'all finna be sacrificed and all this stuff, and lit they motherfucking asses on fucking fire. Bitch, and all of this is being filmed. Now, when all this happens, the next morning because they said, literally, I don't know which person said it, I think it was Lee. She said this is the third day, the third and final night of the blood moon cycle, and this is the most deadliest night, the most dangerous night, because it's the last night. So they finna go to fuck ham, and that's why that shit happened. So when that's done, then all of a sudden the cops want to show the fuck up and see the two bodies that been burnt, okay? See Dylan's and his body parts all on the inside that was supposed to be the insides on the outside. See Monet, see Dominic, see Shelby, and all that shit. And we see Lee. Lee is the only person that's unharmed. I said, so bitch, they said only one person was gonna survive, and it was Lee. And I said, well, damn, so Audrey must be dead. Nope, bitch. Audrey wasn't dead. Audrey, they found her on the floor. She was like, oh my God, are you real? Are you real? And I was like, did she really get chopped up in her shoulder? Because they pulled her up by the fucked up shoulder. And they was like, yes, ma'am, we will. We hear you. You're going to be okay. And then Lee was so discombobulated, she didn't know what the fuck was happening. And I don't think it was an act, because she was under like a spell of hypnosis or some shit, okay? And once she got knocked out that trance because the blood moon was done, she didn't know what the fuck happened and what she did, okay? And so after that, Audrey see her and was like, murderer. I said, bitch, this is not finna end well with you, okay? This, don't do what I think you finna do. And she did exactly what I thought she was finna do. This bitch gonna run, try to take the fucking cop gun and try to shoot Lee. And I said, bitch, oh my God, do you not know what Black Lives Matter is? This was Black Lives Matter in reverse. I'm sitting here like, no, girl, you don't do this shit. They finna shoot your ass. And they shoot and killed her ass. Okay? And as soon as they realized that she was dead, they just walked the fuck away. Lee gets up in that car like, bitch, I don't know what the fuck happened, but I'm glad I survived it. I said, ain't this some shit? So now she's like in court next week in the finale. And not only that, I said she done let her hair grow out. They gave her a new wig and shit. And now she gonna have an interview with Lena Winters. And I said, oh shit, I want to see how this ends. But y'all, this is kind of cute. Y'all tell me how y'all feel about it. And I will see y'all next week or later on today. Peace. Had to think about it.